Hi everyone. In previous posts, we discussed that September is dedicated as Self-Care Awareness Month. Well, it is also dedicated to National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and this is something that is near and dear to my heart, not only as a peer support person, but 21 years ago, I lost a colleague and a friend to suicide, and it was something that I had to respond to that call and basically see the after effects of what he did to himself. Not only that, but in those 21 years, I also lost a cousin to suicide as well as a childhood friend. I didn't see either of them in decades because they had moved to different states. But we're going to talk a little bit about suicide prevention awareness here. When I went through my journey, I struggled for many years with what I would call survivor's guilt. Why didn't I see this coming? Why didn't I do something more? How could have I prevented my friend's suicide? And when I got involved with Illinois Firefighter Peer Support, I ended up getting put in contact with a chief who was also associated with our organization. And I met with him because I felt when I heard his story that he could help me with something. He had also lost a son to suicide, and he was somebody that struggled from very early age, maybe 5 to into his early 20s, before he took his life. And the chief put it simply to me, he said, Tim, the signs were there, we just weren't trained to see them. And he said also that when it comes to somebody committing suicide, once they move past a certain point in their life or they cross over, no matter what's been done with them or for them, they may still commit that act. And he related about how his own son him and his wife both did everything they could to help their son, but he said that he was just in so much pain that was the only relief that he could find was to end his life. The chief assured me that this is not something that he felt was a selfish act, because it does leave behind a lot of emotional upheaval for the survivors that know the person. And he said this is just something, again, to relieve pain. Why do I bring this up? One of the things about these signs not being there, when it came to my friend, in a couple days before he actually committed suicide, he did release some signs. He was putting his affairs in order, and that's one of those hallmarks, or giving things away. And he basically left another a sign out there, and this was after 2 weeks prior he had made an attempt on his own life, but then backed out of it. So again, the signs weren't there. I'm going to leave you at the bottom of this blog several resources that you may find helpful to you when it comes to suicide prevention, suicide awareness. One of the things that I learned over the years is that it is a myth that if you talk to somebody about suicide or ask them if they're suicidal, that's going to cause them to actually go through and commit that act. And again, this is something that has been put out there in the literature that is not the case or not the fact. It's more important, more critical that if you see somebody that's depressed or they're not acting within the norm that you know them, have that honest conversation with them and reach out and do what you can to get them help. If they're in a dire emergency, it's more than suicidal ideation. Maybe they've made an attempt or they're in the act of making a serious attempt, then do what you can. Call 911. If they're suicidal ideation, the suicide prevention hotline is available to help people through their struggles. And more importantly is that they need to know that they have a strong circle of support that's there with them to try to help them through whatever it is that they're going through in their life. So again, I'm going to leave you with all these different type of resources, but it is something near and dear to my heart. So it is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and do the best you can with what you have in each moment, and that's what it's going to make this world a better place to live for all. Until next time, take care and be well.